Hi there. Let me ask you a few questions. Tell me, who is the most important person in your life and why? And what is the most important thing for you in your life and why is that? And who makes you uncomfortable and why? And what throws you out of balance and why? If you asked me these questions a few years ago, I would have had no answers. I would have to think hard and maybe even take a guess. But that's not the case now because I have been working on myself. I have been talking to myself. I have been connecting with myself, and I'm more clear about these things now, which really are the core principles or the core things that drive my life and my decisions and my actions. So how I did that is by making sure I spent some time with myself consistently every day if possible. Yes, there are days when it's not possible, you're busy, but really the intention is to connect with myself every day, sometimes of more than once a day, just checking in with myself on how I am feeling and just sort of understanding how I feel in different situations. Let me give you a very good example that I think will help you understand the importance of this further. So recently, a few weeks ago, I went out on my bicycle. It was a little dark, about 7 o'clock in the night, and I was happily riding away, and then I saw this kid riding his bike. He was looking below, he was looking at the road, he was not looking in the front, and before I could say anything, he was at such a speed that he bumped right into my bicycle. So we collided, and I just, like, things fell, I think, in all directions. My cycle, it took me a few minutes to gather everything and try to, you know, get my bicycle up. And I saw that he was accompanied by his father, and both of them were nice. They tried to get me up and make sure that I was doing fine, and they asked me if I was doing okay, if I am able to stand, and but of course they were worried if something would happen, and something major would happen, but they were trying to sort of make sure I was okay and get out of that scene. That's what was going on in my mind. But really, I didn't say a word. I said I'm okay, and I was unable to stand. My bicycle was in bad condition. It's a pretty strong bicycle. It's a cruiser. It's strong metal, and everything sort of broke and fell apart. So I just was there for a few minutes, and I sort of waited until I could stand, and then slowly walked back home. And meanwhile, they just waited there for a few minutes, and they went away from the scene. Now, everything seemed okay from the surface, but then I was feeling really, really stupid and ridiculous because I started to think about it as to why I'm feeling this way, what went wrong. And what I realized was, in that situation, when I was in a very tensed situation where somebody else sort of did hurt me or caused some kind of disturbance to me, I sort of tend to freeze in that tensed moment and freeze my thoughts, my actions, my brain sort of shut off. I couldn't think straight. Yeah, and then I thought the best way that I could have dealt with that situation was really talk to them, really, yes, tell them that it was bad, the situation is bad, like, and also that I saw the boy was driving really fast, and have a very productive conversation with them, telling them that, and having also talking to the boy and telling him that, you drove really fast and it's in the turn, so you should slow down in the turns, and look at the road and not at the ground. So at least I could, because it was a young boy, and even he would have traumatized with this situation when we fell. And yeah, I wouldn't have thought about yelling or screaming at that person or his dad, but definitely, the personality I am, I could have had a more positive conversation, which would have helped me feel a lot better, because at least I spoke out and I didn't sort of freeze my emotions. And then also it would have been a very, very positive outcome for that young boy, because he would have learned a lesson, and he would have learned a few things to not repeat that, and also learned that people can be nice. So it could have been a lot better. But what I learned about myself is, yes, I tend to freeze in such situations, which does not help me think or make the right decisions or have the right conversations. And that is my takeaway, that I'll be more conscious when such things happen in the future, and I will talk to myself and come out of that zone, the freezing part, and have just be more present in the situation. So that's, friends, one of the many examples I've seen on how I'm improving myself. And it's been a pretty amazing journey. I have learned so many things about myself, some that are really good, some that are not very good. So I continue to strengthen the ones that are helping me, and the ones that are not helping me, I try to change that behavior. So again, it's really critical to assess, or just understand what we are feeling, and how we react in situations, and what we can do, and why is that. Also, the why is very important. And when I think about my situation as to why I freeze in such situations, probably it is something in my childhood, and I don't really know which circumstances exactly, but I pretty well know it's something that probably happened in my childhood, and I developed that sort of defense mechanism, that if something like that happens, I feel like a victim, and then I must make sure that I'm just keeping quiet and just letting things go forward, without even expressing how I am feeling. So yeah, each of us may have different things that we behaviors, things, but the most important thing is, are we paying attention, or are we letting this subconscious mind behaviors run our life? And self-talk and getting to know yourself will exactly help you acknowledge these things and change them for good. And it's a process. So and it's an interesting process. It's like getting to know a friend. It's like and we might feel that, oh, I'm living my life, I know myself, but is that really true? Are you thinking that you know yourself well by knowing that what you do in situations like that, or just taking that for granted, that this is how I am? Or take that time, get to know yourself even more intimately and better, and understand what you're feeling, why you're feeling, and make life even more interesting. And not being judgmental, not being critical, but just acknowledging and accepting what you are at this time, and trying to identify what is serving you, what is not serving you, and yeah, focus on things that are serving you, strengthen them, focus on things that are not serving you, and change them. Yes, so that's the story, and I think what I request you to do is post in the comments below if there is anything you have learned interesting about yourself, about something that you consciously now know and are, um, are are trying to even strengthen it or change it. What is that one behavior you've noticed recently, of late, about or learned about yourself that you'd like to share with us? Share it in the comments and continue to spend that time with yourself. There are my other videos. I'm going to link it here on how you can make sure you can how you can connect with yourself on a more consistent basis. So check them out, but please do prioritize the most important thing in your life, which is you, and connect with yourself more often. Take care. Bye.